Hey, today's April 5th, and I'm going to be going over the three trades I took. Two of them were on Facebook, and one of them was on Tesla. I'm also going to go over Microsoft because I know a lot of people are watching it today. And finally, just talk a little bit about consolidation and impulse theory. Okay, so let's start off with Facebook. Start off with the daily time frame. Okay, so the plan from the morning was to take Facebook long if we invalidated this 4 hour and daily supply area. Facebook has been really strong over the last couple of days. You had all-time highs here, and I knew if we got above supply, we would squeeze higher, and that's what happened today. So let me go down to a 5-minute time frame, and I can pinpoint my exact entries and exits. Okay, I took first entry was right here. Give me a moment. Okay. So for Facebook, my first play was this 5-minute rally base rally. Obviously, it didn't work out. My stop was a close below 306, and that's where I stopped out. So it was a good job following the plan, but I kind of want to go over the mistakes I made and how I can prevent them in the future. So for the first 15 minutes of market open, Facebook was choppy. It was sideways action. It had upper wicks. Same thing for ES. We were moving up. Same with NQ. But Facebook wasn't relatively stronger than the general market. A lot of equities were moving up in the morning. Let me quickly go to Microsoft. And this is what relative strength looks like. No green candles, no consolidation in the morning, just a straight move up. This is what relative strength is. And Facebook did not have relative strength, at least in this period of time. So I took this 5-minute R, B, and R. It wasn't over a key level or anything like that. So really the only like confluences I had were this 5-minute RBR, and I was watching this 305 key level right here, and we did break it on good volume, but I mean there really wasn't any proper entry. I guess you could enter here, but there wasn't any basing period. There wasn't relative strength. So it just wasn't a high probability trade, in my opinion. Both this 305 break and this 5-minute RBR. Something I have been noticing is that 15-minute RBRs have been working out really, really nicely in this market. And that's mainly because 15-minute RBRs means that there's a longer period of consolidation. And I kind of wanted to talk about consolidation and impulse. The market will always move from periods of impulse to consolidation to impulse and back and forth like that. And the longer periods of consolidation you have means the larger or greater chances that there will be a larger impulse move. And that's why 15-minute RBRs work out better than 5-minute RBRs, because there is a larger period of consolidation and we are holding value in that area. So besides this 305 break and this 5-minute RBR, there really wasn't any other reason to go long on Facebook. I think the reason I entered was mainly because I missed Microsoft in the morning, and I really wanted to enter something, which is a wrong mindset to have, and that's just something I need to work on. My next trade on Facebook was a winning trade, and yeah, it was winning, but I like looking back, I think I got a little bit lucky. It wasn't really a good trade. We were consolidating near the highs in this area. So this is the data I had for NQ, and this is the data I had for ES at the time of my entry. ES was trending up. The good thing about Facebook was that NQ had rejected 1 hour supply, but the sell off from 1 hour supply was very, very weak. Buyers immediately step back in. I've seen this pattern work out all the time. We have a nice impulse move on good volume. And usually, when we have a nice impulse move on good volume, we will slightly pull back or consolidate in this area on lower volume before another move higher. And this is what I was talking about. We have an impulse move, then we consolidate in this area, and then we have another impulse move up. Again, there really wasn't any reason to short, and I did take Tesla short, and I will cover why that was a bad trade. But just talking about Facebook right now, we had this ascending triangle break. Um, Again, Facebook wasn't showing signs of relative strength compared to the market. So besides holding value near the highs and this ascending triangle break, there really wasn't a reason to go long. And I'm not saying that it's a bad setup. Neither was this 5 minute RBR. Both were decent setups, but I mean that's the thing. In this market or in any market, I really just want to focus on the highest probability trades. And Facebook, for the way I trade, did not have the highest probability trades. So now let's go over to Tesla. Let me highlight my entry. I entered on the 695 break, which was right here. Oh yeah, okay. My entry was right here. So I guess I think during the moment my analysis was we're showing relative weakness. We're inside of supply. We're breaking the 695 key level. Let me just draw that out. 695. So somewhere in this area, this green line is the 695 key level. You can see that we came down. We didn't hit it exactly, but we kind of held it as support. Broke below it, came back above, tested it as support, tested it as support again, held it as resistance. So 695 is a key level on Tesla, and my entry was based on the fact that we had relative weakness. We were rejecting the stacked supply area. But besides that, as I said before, the market was extremely strong today, and I've seen this pattern work out millions of times. When we have a huge impulse move, it doesn't matter if we're in supply or not. If we're in supply or not, when the market is clearly trending up, there's no reason to fight the trend. If NQ started rejecting pretty significantly and we started showing signs of weakness, then yeah, I would have formulated a plan for Tesla and maybe have taken it short below the 678 key level. But at this time, the market was trending up, and I feel like I say this a lot, but there's no reason to fight the trend. Every time I try to fight the trend, it goes against me. And talking about that's kind of the way I use supply and demand zones in my strategy. I don't necessarily short from supply, but I use supply and demand zones as a guide whether or not to take the stock long or short. For example, if Microsoft has this crazy rally, which I'll talk about later, but NQ is approaching supply or at supply, then I don't want to take Microsoft long unless NQ is clearly basing in supply and showing me that buyers are strong enough to outweigh the sell imbalances. Yeah, I think I got a little bit sidetracked there, but um, there's no reason to fight the trend. And I entered somewhere here. I held through this green candle, which was also another mistake. I should have stopped out. I got this move down. I was excited. I said that okay, the supply is gonna work. But as I talked about before, strong impulse move consolidation usually is followed by another strong impulse move to the upside. So that was Tesla and Facebook. Really no high probability trades for me on either of those stocks, but I took it and it's just a learning experience. But I really want to go over Microsoft because I know a lot of people, including Dylan, took this trade long. So the main level to watch was this 245 key level, and this was a level that we were all watching. Let me go to the daily quickly. The plan was that we're gapping up near all-time highs. If we can get above this 45-minute supply area, then we can look to take it long above the 245 key level or some sort of rally-based rally speculation. So right off of the bat, unlike Facebook, Microsoft has a nice move up, while NQ and ES have their second red candle, automatically letting me know that Microsoft has relative strength. At this point, I'm looking for some sort of base to take it above the 245 key level, and that was the main reason why I didn't take Microsoft long today. We had moved from 242.5 to 245, so a $2.50 move with no period of consolidation. And I guess some can argue that this doji candle was indeed a period of consolidation because it closed as a doji with a good lower wick, which is indicating buying pressure. But to me, it's still green, and to me, it's still some sort of impulse move. Again, I'm gonna have to talk to some other traders. I'm gonna talk to Dylan about why specifically he took it over 245. He said that he did size down, and unfortunately I don't have that luxury because I have a smaller account. But uh, I can see why a lot of people did take it long over 245. If we did count this basing candle as some sort of consolidation, then yeah, if we barely close red with this nice lower wick, um, which was followed by this huge green candle, then I would have definitely taken it over 245. But to me, we didn't get some sort of true basing or some sort of pullback to take it long at 245. But I mean, if I did, we had this crazy rally from 245 to 248, where we finally started showing some periods of consolidation. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself that, okay, now seems like a good place to take it long. Let's see if we can break this flag pattern. And so I was getting ready to enter at 10:35 when I immediately noticed that NQ had hit 1 hour supply perfectly. And I wish this supply zone didn't exist, but it did. And one of my rules is that I'm not gonna take an equity long if NQ is at supply. In hindsight, yeah, the reaction was very weak and we continued higher, but we could have easily rejected the supply and come down, and that would have been a decent sized losing trade for me. So it did work out, but NQ was in supply, and that's why I didn't take this trade long. Where I do, however, see a good setup is a retest of 248. I'm gonna mark that up quickly. So after moving higher, you can see that NQ had a very weak reaction. ES had no supply, as I talked about before, and we started basing inside of 1 hour supply. Previously, we were holding 248 as resistance. We were consolidating at 248 before moving higher. So if 248 acted as resistance, when we break through it, it should theoretically act as support, and that's exactly what happened. We retested this 248 level while NQ was basing in supply, and Microsoft had shown signs of relative strength compared to the general market. So after we start coming up here, maybe close a green candle, I could have taken it somewhere here, scaled out on the way up. Obviously, we didn't get the follow through I wanted, but I mean that's just how trading goes. This could have easily broken high day, continued up, but that wasn't the case. Regardless, though, I think my only trade today, considering the fact that I missed this 245 break, should have been this pullback to 248. And I'm gonna review if Dylan saw this as a basing period and that's why he decided to take it long at 245. I still want a little bit more clarification on this, but this could have been a good setup. This pullback to 248 would have also been a good setup. And the main reason was because Microsoft had shown signs of relative strength. If you go back to Facebook, yeah, it did move up, but I mean, a lot of equities moved up because the market was strong. But Facebook didn't show the signs of relative strength like Microsoft did. And I remember Dylan telling me that he said that Microsoft was the a clearer option to trade today. And reviewing that, I can clearly see why he said that. We had a large impulse move, and that's why we had relative strength. But besides that, let me check how much. 15. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to end the video here. I tried to explain consolidation impulse theory. Um, I can quickly explain a little bit more. Um, for example, NQ opened up in 3 hour supply. We're not going to move straight to 3 hour supply here without showing some sort of consolidation. The market isn't just going to rally 200, 300 points without showing periods of consolidation, because that's not how the market works. The market will always move from impulse to consolidation back to impulse. That's just market structure. That's something that I've just learned through screen time, and that is a just a good lesson to keep in mind. But I think I'm gonna end the video here, and I will trade tomorrow, and we'll go from there.